One of the most common errors that writers make is failing to recognize and fix run-on sentences. In today's lesson, we'll take a look at the two types of run-on sentences, and we'll also learn 4 ways to fix those run-on sentences. Run-on sentences cause problems for writers at every level. Whether you are an elementary or middle school, high school writer, maybe preparing for the SAT essay, or a college writer who has to write numerous essays, you really need to understand what makes a run-on sentence and, more importantly, how to fix it. So let's get right into it. So here are our run-ons. My puppy loves to snuggle, he sits on my lap. The first way it's presented is as a fused sentence. There's no punctuation within the sentence at all. The second way, which is equally as incorrect, is as a comma splice. In the middle of those two independent clauses, there's a comma where there should be a period or some other type of punctuation or word configuration that makes it correct. Now, if you were simply just speaking this out loud, no one would know it was a fused sentence or a comma splice, or even think of it as a run-on. It would just sound like, my puppy loves to snuggle, he sits on my lap. But when you write something like this, you do need to make clear those boundaries. Now, the first and least sophisticated way of fixing this problem is to simply form 2 complete sentences by putting a period at that point where the sentences were fused or where that comma splice was before. It would say, my puppy loves to snuggle, period, he sits on my lap. Note, you do need to capitalize the word he. It wasn't capitalized before, but when you insert that first period, you are starting a new sentence with he, so it does need to be capitalized. Fix number 2 for this run-on is to add a semicolon, and you're going to put the semicolon in the place where the 2 independent clauses were fused, or in other words, where the comma splice existed. My puppy loves to snuggle, semicolon, he sits on my lap. It's perfectly acceptable to combine 2 independent clauses with a semicolon. This actually forms a compound sentence. Another way of forming a compound sentence is to connect those 2 independent clauses with a comma and a coordinating conjunction, such as the word and. So it says, my puppy loves to snuggle, and he sits on my lap. This is a compound sentence. There are only a limited number of coordinating conjunctions that exist in the English language, so let's take a look at those. There are only 7 coordinating conjunctions, and we remember them with the acronym FANBOYS. They are for, and, nor, but, or, yet. So you have to choose the correct coordinating conjunction that affects the meaning of the sentence in the way you want it to be interpreted. It wouldn't be the same if I said, my puppy loves to snuggle, yet he sits on my lap. Just wouldn't be the same. So they're not necessarily interchangeable. In this case, I've chosen to use the coordinating conjunction and that forms a perfectly fine compound sentence. The word when is a subordinating conjunction. My puppy loves to snuggle when he sits on my lap. Now I've got some sort of connector there between those 2 independent clauses. In fact, what happens is that second independent clause turns into a dependent clause, but that's really not what the lesson is here for today. I want you to just understand that there are a number of words, subordinating conjunctions, that you can use to connect 2 independent clauses and take care of a run-on problem. In the description below, I will put a link to a complete list of subordinating conjunctions, but here are just a few of the most common ones that you can use to help you fix a run-on sentence, whether it's a fused sentence or a comma splice.
putting these words in between the two independent clauses, which is actually forming a complex sentence, will help you take care of that run-on problem. Now, you do have to be sure that you choose a subordinating conjunction, again, just like with coordinating conjunctions, that will give you the type of meaning in your sentence that you want to have. Let's take another look at the sentence I fixed in this way. The subordinating conjunction I chose was the word when. My puppy loves to snuggle when he sits on my lap. Notice when I leave the sentence as it was before and just insert that subordinating conjunction between the two parts of the fused or comma splice sentence, there's no extra punctuation. However, if for stylistic reasons I want to vary my sentence structure a little bit and put when he sits on my lap first in the sentence, please notice that I do need to insert a comma, because in a complex sentence, when the dependent clause comes first, there needs to be a comma between the dependent clause and the independent clause.
If this has been helpful for you, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribing, leaving a comment, or just leaving a thumbs up really helps the video to be shared with more possible viewers on YouTube. Today in the comments, I would really love to see what your favorite fix for a comma splice or a fused sentence is. So please take a moment right now, just before you hit the subscribe button, to write in the comments your favorite fix for run-on sentences. Never stop learning.